Hi guys, so today I'm going to be cooking dinner with you. So this is going to be a meal that Zach and I normally eat, but I want to be doing more of these type of videos just more frequently so it can show like how my routines might change depending on what I'm doing for the day. And then also I just want to kind of use this to mix up my routines, to kind of branch out of just my normal recipes that I normally make. But this one is definitely a go-to for me. Zach and I, we are more or less pescatarians. So today I'm making mahi, broccoli, and then I've also got some brown rice. So I like to season any fish that I have with, well, one of the things I like to do is use honey and Cajun spices. So this was a trick that a friend of ours showed us and we love it so much because when people make fish, if you don't like fish, it's probably because you haven't experimented yet with savory fish. And so the honey really makes a difference because it's still sweet, but then the savory part comes out with the Cajun. So I like to just use honey as a base because then it makes the Cajun stick really well to the fish. All right, so I've got some Cajun spices. You can just get these from, any grocery store. And I like to put a little, like in a spoon or a dish or whatever, and then just kind of bounce my finger along it because, and that was even a little thick. I don't like to go very thick on it. I like to just dust it. There are some seasoning spices that I like to put on fish that maybe I'll show you at a different time that is way more spicy. Well, I mean, there's way more spices, but it doesn't take much with Cajun to really kick it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven. So I've got the oven set for 425. It's really hard to bend down when I've got my mic and my phone in my pocket and everything. And then I'm just gonna put that in the middle pan or the middle rack. And I've got that 425 for about 20 minutes. Okay, moving on, I want to start making my broccoli. So I've got garlic, I've got some red pepper flakes, and then I've also got a bunch of baby broccoli. If I can find baby broccoli, I definitely prefer that to regular broccoli just because the florets, if you will, they're not as like dense, they have more texture to them and they feel a little bit more tender. So I'm just gonna wash them a little bit more. And I need to set a timer on my oven. So yeah, I want about 20 minutes. So that's gonna run. Now back to my broccoli. I want to really just focus on having the florets. I don't care too much for having the stalks. It's okay if you like the stalks, but they just get a little unnecessary. And I also want to kind of break up these bigger pieces like that. All right, I'm just gonna get rid of the stalks here. And the next thing that I wanna do is heat up some oil in the pan. So I have exactly one pan in one pot, and that's just been something that I've done ever since Zach and I first got married. I'm just heating this pan up to medium, by the way, and I'm using cold pressed olive oil. I'm down to my very last bit of it, so I might have to mix in some butter as well, but should be okay. Yeah, I want a little bit more than that. But yeah, anytime that you can get olive oil that's cold pressed is a really good idea. It doesn't matter as much if you're just going to be heating it up anyways, but that's just kind of my preference. So I can use that like when I'm making my salads. If you didn't catch my salad video, you can definitely check that out. I can link you guys in a card. So I always keep a little bit of softened butter out and ready to go. So that's what I'm using in addition to my olive oil. This is real life, you guys. Okay, so the next thing that I'm gonna do is let that heat up, and then I want to add some garlic and red pepper flakes and the broccoli. I think that is really fun to mix up what we cook for a vegetable with what I have as a meal usually, which is the fish and rice. So sometimes I'll have a sweet potato, or I will have, broccoli is really a standard and go-to. Sometimes I'll have some like petite potatoes and cut those up and bake them if I have enough time, but that can be a little bit much like longer of a process. I'm just gonna grab some of this garlic. This has been such a time saver for me. Instead of peeling each and every garlic clove and having to mince it, which I never mince it this good, I just get the kind that's pre-made, pre-cut up, I guess. And that adds a lot more garlic to my, my nutrition and what I try to eat in a day than what I'd ever try to do if I was peeling everything myself. So now I'm taking my red pepper flakes. I don't really need a lot of these because I don't like especially spicy food, but I love savory dinners. So I'm just gonna be lightly coating that as well. Honestly, whenever we order pizza out, they always give us these red pepper flakes, and I save them so that I can use them later on in meals like this. So I'm gonna stir it up real quick with what, I don't know. I guess I'll use my fork. And then I'm just gonna stir that, and then I'm just gonna let it sit for a couple minutes. This was a Martha Stewart way of cooking it. I can link you guys down to her recipe. That's just been where I've gone to for quite a long time for any recipes. Like, I trust Martha Stewart's brand and everybody she works with implicitly when it comes to cooking or any recipe. I just follow it to a T. So this is a really easy way to have bright broccoli that's not like mushy or anything like that. Much brighter and still tender if you cook it long enough. So I've got another minute and a half or so on these, maybe just a minute. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I also have my brown rice just over here. It's in one of those rice cookers, and that has been really good too. Like, if you ever just want to add more rice or quinoa or whatever else you like to your meals, it's such an easy way to do that because you don't have to think about it and boil it and the whole deal. That was one of the things with my dietitian. Is I went to her because I have PCOS and I manage it through my nutrition, and so she's walked me through ways to make me be able to eat more vegetables throughout my day in a more effortless way. Because if I'm gonna be like, again with the garlic cloves, if I'm gonna be like peeling every single one and mincing it finely, I'm just not gonna do it, and then I'll throw it away because it went bad. But if I can make it work for me, then I'm all about it. All right, I'm going to now add about half a cup of water to this. And then I'm basically just letting that boil more or less inside here, simmer if you will. And then I'm gonna let that sit for about 6 to 8 minutes and just kind of keep an eye on it. So I am gonna have everything kind of be ready at the same time. So now I guess I just want to get my lemon wedges going and kind of prepare for my, like, how I'm gonna plate everything. Give that a rinse. And I like to use lemons whenever I am making broccoli or rice or fish, especially. Like, fish and lemons go together so well. So I just want to kind of cut one in half and then just lightly cut in the center there so that I can really squeeze it squeeze these at the end, like over all of my food, and it's going to be awesome. I also can take another little lemon and use them more decoratively. So I'm cutting off the end there and then just lightly cutting the rest of them. To be honest, if it was just me and Zach, I wouldn't go to this much trouble, but you guys are here, so I have to make it pretty. There we go, that's pretty much it. I think next I'm going to get the rice out because it might still be really hot by the time that I go to serve my meal, and I'm going to have hot food on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead with that. I'm going to get an oven mitt here. Yeah, the rice a lot of times is just blazing hot, and then you're just sitting there waiting to be able to eat it. So it's good to be a little bit proactive here. Another thing about these little rice cookers is the bottoms get a little bit singed. I think I'm just gonna not use the bottom part on this time, but if I really didn't want it to be singed at all, it's worked for me in the past to use a little bit of water while it's still cooking, like just about finished, and then that just kind of loosens and moistens up all of that. Another thing that I like to do is use butter for this, because it's going to be so good to have the combination of the butter and the rice, and getting a little bit of a head start on mixing that up is going to be great. And oil, like olive oil, is not something that I prefer in something like rice, because I just feel like the olive oil gets very, you can just really taste it more than you can just good old-fashioned butter. And that also, the butter is a really good tip for getting those browned pieces off there. I'm gonna go ahead and check the broccoli again. Yeah, so at that point, I think they're just about done. If I let them cook any longer, they'll get a little bit more wilted, and I don't want that. The other great thing about this is you can use all of that seasoning with the garlic and the red pepper flakes, and that's gonna make a dish look really presentable. And I think I just wanna set it on a different stovetop and set it to low so that it stays warm. I absolutely don't like it when you go to serve a meal and something like a vegetable, I feel like they cool off so much faster than everything else. So that was really good because it didn't even take that much time to cook, and I'm just kind of keeping it over a warmer. All right, so now we're gonna wait until the fish is done. Okay, so now this is done. Pulling that out. That looks amazing. Absolutely the perfect look that I'm going for. And my spatula, you guys, is dirty in there, so I'm gonna just be using one spatula right now. Just gonna keep it real. So I'm gonna just kind of move that around for now. I actually don't even need to pull this off just yet because I wanna add all the rice on the plate first. So moving on to the rice. This is gonna be great. Okay, Zach, I usually give him a lot more rice than me. So I get like a little morsel of rice, and then I just give him almost all of the rest. So rice isn't something that preserves really well, so I don't like to keep it around my house for very long. Maybe I'll have it for like lunch the next day, but I don't keep it in my fridge any longer than that. So that's about all I'll be using. Next, I'm gonna add my fish. So I'm just gonna grab that. It's gonna need more than one thing. And adding, you guys, I am not a professional. Okay, here we go. It's dinner. All right, the other thing is that I like to cut these in half because it just cooks a little bit better. Given I don't have my full spatula, so I think I have an excuse. All right, then I'm gonna add my broccoli. So coming back over here, gonna be great. All right. Get a little steam facial while you're at it. I've been watching a lot of Gordon Ramsay on Masterclass, and just the way that he puts everything together is like amazing. This is definitely not that. It's close though. I'm adding those juices that are left on here to just season the rice a little bit better, because I don't want the rice to be bland at all, and any seasoning and spices or juices that are left in the pan are going to be a lot more flavorful. And then adding those to the top there, it's going to make it look great. Set it down. Turn off all the oven. And then I just want to add my lemon, and that's pretty much it. So the first thing I want to do is use those wedges, and especially focus on the broccoli and the mahi-mahi. And then I also want to just add some salt and pepper. I don't add the pepper to the Cajun spiced mahi-mahi though, because that would just be like, wow, a lot of spice, way too much for me. But I do like to add the salt and the pepper, especially to the rice and also the broccoli. All right, and that is pretty much what we do for our dinners. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. I have to add these lemons that I cut. So I just want to kind of layer them there, making it extra fancy for you guys, because if it was just me and Zach, again, I wouldn't go to the trouble. But it looks really good. All right, that's dinner. Thanks so much, you guys, for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you want more of the what I eat in a day videos. I definitely could come up with several more. And this is a fun way to kind of like switch up what I do over here on YouTube. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.